Clark that I have been seeing from her, or actually maybe just from the last game, but I saw her definitely having in the last game, and that was kind of a little deflated, kind of under baseline energy levels. She wasn't like really talking to anybody on the court. She wasn't showing much emotion, and this is, that is where Caitlin Clark shows all of her emotion.
You wouldn't believe what's going on behind the scenes in Indiana right now. The Fever just dropped back-to-back games, and the scoreboard isn't the only thing catching fire. The losses, painful. The body language, alarming. And the rumors? Let's just say the smoke is getting thicker by the day. We are hearing whispers, and they're growing louder, that Stephanie White and Caitlin Clark are not on the same page. Not even close.
I think the little things, we've kind of just shot ourselves in the leg consistently doing that. We turn the ball over, we foul a lot. Those are just easy points for them. I don't know how many points they had at the free throw line tonight, but I think they had 18 off of our turnovers, and that mostly falls on me. That falls on me as our point guard. I think I have to really get us into stuff, especially in the fourth quarter. We didn't do a good job of taking care of the ball. I didn't. So I think just starts with me and just getting better in that.
And guess what? This isn't just your typical mid-season slump. This is starting to look like a full-blown disconnect between coach and star player, the kind that can derail an entire franchise. Caitlin Clark, the generational talent who was supposed to save the Fever, is now at the center of a growing storm. And it's not just about missed shots, though there have been plenty of those. It's about a system, a philosophy, and maybe even some personal tension that's bubbling over. Let's rewind to the latest loss against the Las Vegas Aces. The Fever were right there in it, tied at 69 in the fourth quarter, before completely unraveling down the stretch. Final score, 89-81. Another L. But the real story? Clark went 1 for 10 from 3, continuing a staggering shooting drought that's seen her go 1 for 17 from beyond the arc over the last 2 games. That's not just a slump, that's a system failure, and fans are demanding answers.
It feels like everybody on this team, I don't know, Duana Bonner's been in her head. I think that it's showing that Caitlin Clark is in her head, and she's 23 years old, and she has the weight of the success of the WNBA on her shoulders. And, the Connecticut Sun game was very intense, so we can't assume that it didn't exactly have an effect on her, but there is definitely something going on. I know she's also been coughing a lot, for a while, actually. So, again, all I would be saying are assumptions here, but the energy level that Caitlin Clark is exuding is a little worrisome. It could just be she lost 2 games in a row. And
so what does Coach Stephanie White have to say? Well, instead of taking accountability, she started pointing fingers at the defense, the physicality, the need to get Clark better looks. But here's where the rumor mill kicks in. We're hearing Caitlin is growing frustrated, not just with her shooting, but with the very offense she's being forced to run. This rigid motion offense has her sprinting around screens like she's auditioning for a Broadway show instead of playing to her strengths: transition, pick and roll, and improvisation. It's a bad fit, and everyone sees it.
To do as a staff to get her better looks, like higher quality looks. Every game plan is going to be to make her score inside the three-point line, right? And the different ways that they're going to do that: physicality, coverage, showing bodies, all the different things. And, we have to do a better job of getting her higher quality looks.
And guess what else? Clark's demeanor on the court is changing. She's not talking as much, not hyping up teammates like usual. Her energy levels are flat. Rumors are swirling that the Connecticut game, where she was poked in the eye and shoved to the ground, may have broken more than just her rhythm. Add in a nagging quad injury and some speculated illness, and what we're seeing is a player battling both physically and mentally. But instead of adapting, the coaching staff keeps forcing her into the same ill-fitting system. Now here's where things really get spicy. After the Aces game, Clark took the blame, saying the turnovers were on her and that she had to be better. But behind closed doors, it's a different story. Multiple sources are suggesting that the relationship between Clark and White is strained. One rumor has it that Clark has grown tired of the coach's inability to adjust the system to her strengths. Another suggests that White doesn't fully trust Clark in the media, going so far as to intercept questions directed at her after the controversial Connecticut game. Is that protection or control?
I am not liking what I'm seeing.
I mean this when I say this. Fire Stephanie White yesterday. Fire her yesterday. And the reason why is not that Stephanie White is a bad basketball coach. It's not that Stephanie White is a bad motivational speaker. It's not that Stephanie White has done a bad job defending her players.
We're also hearing that Clark feels unsupported, especially as the physicality ramps up across the league. She's been shoved, hacked, knocked down, and officiating has been inconsistent at best. After the Connecticut incident, White launched into a rant about the refs, saying, "Everyone's improving except the officials." But here's the thing. Where's that fire when it comes to fixing the offense? It's like she's more focused on defending her ego than her player. Let's not forget, this isn't Clark's rookie season. She's in year 2. This was supposed to be the season she built on that foundation and took the league by storm. But instead, we're watching a potential MVP candidate struggle to even find a rhythm, forced into an offense that seems designed for anyone but her. And the most damning part, White has been absent for multiple games due to personal reasons. We're hearing Caitlin in the locker room have noticed. When your star player is struggling and the coach is MIA, that's not leadership. It's abandonment. Meanwhile, other stars like Aja Wilson are thriving. When the pressure hits, Wilson delivers. That's what separates true contenders from teams like Indiana, who seem to shrink in big moments. Clark can't do it alone. She needs a system that lets her shine. But instead, she's getting motion offense purgatory, bench rotations that lack rhythm, and a coaching staff that seems more reactive than proactive. Even when Clark does get shots, they're often rushed, off balance, or out of sync. White keeps saying the team needs to get her better looks, but insiders are saying that's just code for, we don't know how to help her. The truth? Clark is getting open shots. The problem is, she's never in rhythm to take them because the system demands constant, purposeless movement. And don't think this tension is just between Clark and White. When you've got a player like Aaliyah Boston dropping 26 points in the same game and still walking off the court with a loss, that's a team issue. Boston is doing her part, but the offense is so disjointed that it barely matters. Chemistry is fading fast, and you better believe that starts at the top. So here we are. A team with championship expectations spiraling into mediocrity, a young superstar looking more frustrated than fired up, and a coach whose system just isn't working. And might never have. We're not saying Clark and White hate each other, but we are hearing that they're not exactly building trust either. Something's gotta give. The system, the leadership, maybe even the head coach. Because let's be real, you can't waste this kind of talent. Clark is too good, and the WNBA is too competitive to keep playing games like this. If the Fever don't act fast, adjust the offense, manage Clark's health, and maybe, just maybe, look at new leadership, they're going to watch their playoff hopes evaporate. So what do you think, hoop heads? Are the rumors true? Is the Stephanie White-Caitlin Clark relationship on thin ice? Smash that like button if you think it's time for a coaching change, and subscribe to She Can Hoop 2 for more fire takes, honest breakdowns, and all the drama from the W. Because one thing's for sure, something is definitely brewing in Indiana.